selling out everywhere we go. You know why? Because boxing's not broke. And we're getting on with it, and we're delivering, because we're not babies.
Queensberry is claiming that Sella and TKO breached contracts he'd signed with them and went behind his back to form a venture, Zuffa, that aims to dominate boxing. The Telegraph understands this morning that Queensberry will seek up to $1 billion compensation for income the company claims it would have made had the contracts been honoured. Frank suing Turki and Alalshikh and Dana White. Turki Alalshikh and Dana White. It seems it's all getting a bit nasty, isn't it? And those who were once friends are very much no longer.
Breaking news across the boxing world. Frank Warren gave a straight warning that he will make them regret it if Zuffa Boxing continues. He has told Turki Alalshikh to end it immediately or face a $1 billion lawsuit. This is serious.
I remember years ago when I got shot, I had a fighter who said, swearing loyalty to me. If I'd have been there, I'd have taken...
Frank Warren is pointing out that yes, there are thousands of fighters worldwide, but only a tiny percentage reach world level. His frustration is clear. He believes after promoters invest years building these fighters, Zuffa are stepping in with big money offers and taking the very few who actually matter.
How many boxers are there in the world?
Thousands.
That's what I mean. So, you know, and those boxers, I mean, obviously there's only going to be a small amount of them ever going to challenge off.
Ade Oladipo says promoters must lock their fighters into long contracts because fighters will leave for bigger money. He admits fighters hit the jackpot while promoters face serious problems. He also says this tactic has happened before, but this time the scale and money behind Zuffa make it far more dangerous.
For a promoter, you need to tie down your fighters to long contracts because your fighters will be going. So it's who you're looking at. From our perspective as fight fans, it's the same thing. We still see great fights on great cards. From a fighter's perspective, jackpot, more money. From a promoter's perspective, it's time to batten down the hatchets because it's going to get a bit messy. But we've seen companies like Zuffa come in, PBC did it, Eddie did it when he got that big DAZN check and went to America and tried to sign everyone. So everyone's been doing it for about 2 decades, so it's nothing.
Simon Jordan says Dana White and Turki Alalshikh have snatched one of Queensberry's key fighters, Conor Benn, causing major disputes over contracts and loyalty. He explains that proving damages will be crucial, and if Queensberry can show income being generated without them, it strengthens their case. This highlights the legal and financial stakes as traditional promoters fight to protect their talent against aggressive poaching by Zuffa and its backers. The tension is heating up fast in UK boxing circles.
So off goes Dana White and Turki Alalshikh and take one of their marquee fighters, Conor Benn, in terms of profile right now. And here we are now seeing an issue between Queensberry and the potential relationship they believe they were having with Sella about their future. Now, it'd be interesting to see how the contract plays out and how much of a case they have. First, you have to prove damages, and clearly they'll be able to suggest that if there's income being generated and they're not part of it, and there's a contract that's binding, they'll be able to give some indication.
Honestly, I think this Zuffa situation is pure chaos. You've got Frank Warren and the UK promoters furious because their fighters are being tempted away with huge money. It's not just sport anymore, it's about power and control. Social media fans are watching every move, but the real story is behind the scenes. A total battle for talent and influence in boxing. This isn't drama, it's a full-blown war.
It's like a drama, boxing. Do you know what I mean? Behind the scenes. You know, with all like the YouTubers and etc. filling in the gaps, all the spats between promoters and broadcasters and this and that. You know, it really does. And then you've got everyone who's got their own voice on social media chipping in. It's like its own, like drama series. Like, it's just like, it's like EastEnders.
Liam Goff says Frank Warren is ferocious and self-made, but if you ask me, he is exactly the man to take this fight on. Zuffa is stepping on the toes of promoters who built fighters from scratch. Warren isn't afraid of confrontation, and his warning is a message. You don't mess with decades of work without consequences.
Frank Warren ain't playing around, but is this a battle that he really should be fighting? Do you ever hear the saying, pick your battles carefully? And you should pick your battles sometimes carefully. Frank Warren is a ferocious character. He really is. He is a man who is...
Frank Warren points out that loyalty and money aren't everything, but it's what's being tested here. Fighters may technically be free agents, yet Zuffa's aggressive poaching feels like a betrayal. Warren's stance is clear. He isn't just protecting contracts, he's defending respect and decades of hard work that these new players are trying to bypass.
Things that he said a little while ago about his loyalty and money not being the be and end of it all, that's how it's wound up being at the end of the day.
From my perspective, this is pure betrayal. Queensberry feels completely backdoored as Zuffa and TKO swoop in. Contracts and personal data were accessed under false pretenses, and now promoters like Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn are left questioning their place. This is a cold power move, and it's no wonder the old guard are ready to fight back hard.
Warren and Turkey, something had happened, and now it is coming to pass. Now the chickens have come home to roost, and Queensberry is trying to get money that they're saying had they not been backdoored, and I'm just using slang and paraphrasing because we already went through the actual article. They're saying they got backdoored. Sella had access to their contracts and personal data, thinking the partnership was cool, only to, in the end, be betrayed. This is what they're alleging, to be betrayed. And all of a sudden, TKO gets announced, and they're like, yo, we got TKO Boxing, Dana White's ahead of it. Where does Frank Warren fit into that? Where does Eddie Hearn fit into that?
I think this shows just how bold Zuffa is getting. Working with Jake Paul and eyeing UK deals like Sky Sports is a huge threat to traditional promoters. Free YouTube streaming is great for fans, but it undermines the old system. Frank Warren and others aren't just upset. They see this as an existential battle for control over fighters and the UK boxing market.
And the rumour mill is that Dana White, Zuffa Boxing, for the UK broadcaster, could potentially be Sky Sports, because as it stands now, and we love it, don't get me wrong, we love it, but we know it's not sustainable, it's not always going to be the case. Right now, if you're outside North America, they're showing their Zuffa Boxing shows on YouTube. It's brilliant. We love it. It really is. But obviously that...
Eddie Hearn's words are revealing, and honestly, they show just how tense the scene has become. On the surface, it sounds almost humorous. I'd clean his shoes. But behind it, you can feel the frustration. Promoters like Hearn are caught between respecting big money backers and protecting their own fighters. Zuffa is flexing serious influence, and every promoter in the UK sees it. Hearn's statement underlines that even top figures in boxing feel powerless when Zuffa swoops in, trying to grab fighters they've built over years. This isn't just a negotiation, it's a clash of power, ego, and control over talent. Fans are seeing contracts tested, loyalties questioned, and the old boxing system under pressure. From my point of view, this highlights why Frank Warren had to step in with a warning like it'll make them regret, because the traditional promoters cannot afford to lose their fighters to Zuffa's aggressive moves. The tension is unprecedented and could reshape UK boxing forever.
I have no problem working for His Excellency. If he asked me to clean his shoes, I would probably do it. That's a bit much, Eddie. No, but I don't.
Ade Oladipo nails the heart of the problem. Zuffa is entering the UK market, dangling huge money, free fight cards, and Sky Sports exposure in front of fighters who are suddenly hot commodities. From a promoter's perspective, this is a nightmare. Years of investment in building fighters can be undone in an instant. I see this clearly. Zuffa isn't just offering contracts, they're actively destabilizing the system, creating a frenzy where loyalty becomes optional. Promoters like Frank Warren have every reason to react strongly because they're not just losing income, they're losing the fighters they shaped from the ground up. This isn't about sport or opportunity, it's a calculated power play. I think fans need to understand how serious this is. Every fighter Zuffa entices is another crack in the foundation of traditional UK boxing, and it's exactly why Frank Warren's warning carries weight. This isn't politics, it's a real fight for control over talent.
Already we've had free fight cards. There's a lot of talk about them coming into the UK market, getting that Sky Sports platform. So if you're a fighter right now, you're a hot commodity. If you're a promoter, you need to tie down your fighters to long contracts because your fighters will be going.
Frank Warren is being brutally honest and unapologetic here. He makes it clear, promoters like him are not babies to be pushed around. Zuffa has tested boundaries, poaching fighters like Conor Benn despite previous loyalty and contracts. Warren highlights that this isn't just about the money the fighter gets, it's about respect, integrity, and decades of building careers. From my perspective, this shows the raw frustration of traditional promoters. Conor Benn might be a success story for Zuffa, but Warren knows how much work went into shaping him, and seeing him taken underlines the threat. This is exactly why Frank Warren had to issue his ILL make them regret warning. Zuffa isn't just disrupting the market, they're challenging the very system that allowed UK boxing to flourish. Warren's tone is a mix of pride and fury. He's not going to let years of effort be undermined by a flashy new player with deep pockets.
I have no problem working for His Excellency. If he asked me to clean his shoes, I would probably do it. That's a bit much, Eddie. No, but I'm
this potential legal battle between you and the Saudis. What can you tell us about it at the moment?
Not a lot. It's just an action, and I can't make any comment on it at the moment.
What does it mean, though, for your fighters? Like, will you still be taking fights in Saudi? Will we see you still on Riyadh season cards?
I can't comment on it at the moment.
From my view, this billion-dollar lawsuit talk is exactly the kind of high-stakes drama UK boxing hasn't seen in decades. Zuffa's moves are shaking up the entire system, and promoters like Frank Warren are signaling they're willing to escalate legally to protect what's theirs. Ade Oladipo admits he doesn't have the full picture, but it's obvious to me this isn't just talk. This is a battle for survival, respect, and control over talent. Every contract, every fighter, and every negotiation is under scrutiny. Frank Warren's warning and potential lawsuits send a clear message. Zuffa can't just take fighters and expect the old guard to stand by quietly. This fight isn't in the ring, it's in the boardrooms, courtrooms, and behind the scenes, and it could change the UK boxing landscape forever. Fans should watch closely because this is one of the most explosive confrontations the sport has seen.
Reports this morning of a $1 billion lawsuit, Frank, seller. I mean, do you know anything about this? There's not been very much publicly released about this.
If I did know something about this, I would absolutely not say I knew anything about this. This is one of those ones that go over my pay grade, over my head, and over everything else. So I will, like most people, just wait and see how this plays out. It does sound a bit crazy, but yeah, this is certainly something I'm just a presenter. I know nothing.
Honestly, this is where it all comes to a head. Frank Warren has drawn a line in the sand, and he is not backing down. Zuffa Boxing and its backers have pushed too far, taking fighters who were built from the ground up by UK promoters. And now the gloves are off. This isn't just about contracts or money, it is about respect, control, and the future of UK boxing. Every move from Dana White, Turki Alalshikh, and Zuffa has been aggressive and calculated, but Frank Warren and promoters like Eddie Hearn are showing they will fight back every step of the way. The stakes could not be higher, and fans are watching a real-life war for talent unfold in front of their eyes. You have fighters being pulled in multiple directions, huge money being offered, and contracts tested in ways that make even experienced promoters uneasy. If you follow boxing closely, this is the moment to pay attention, because the outcome of this battle will shape how fighters are treated and how promoters operate in the UK for years to come. The message is clear to anyone trying to poach talent: play with the wrong promoter, and you'll regret it. Stay tuned, because every update from this feud is explosive, and make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to catch every development as it happens in this high-stakes drama.